Good morning, blue rhythmic monkeys. Let's hit the road. After yesterday, I feel a lot better. I tell you, one of the things I've learned in the Tzolk'in is that, first of all, to investigate and to really go into a state, and then I've really learned, no, I take that back, I've done that before, but what the Tzolk'in has taught me is, or that through this diving into the energies of the day, a down phase in my life or a lights out phase in my life or a light dim phase in my life is usually never longer than 3 days anymore. Because like a child, it just grabs too much of my excitement and attention to dive into the next energies that come around. And it's just not possible to hold on to a bone for too long. We gotta go and bury it. We get back to it later. And our unconscious never forgets where it's buried its bones. So we don't have to worry about that. It can be how many bones. And sometimes I'm like this dog running around like, which one should I unpack? Which one? Oh, there's a new one. Okay. Okay, today we are the rhythmic tone 6 monkey in the wave spell of the world bridger. And there's one thing I want to talk about today, which is we are having a really special day today. Really, really special. I wonder, I'm going to pause this and Google how often does this happen. Hold on. Yeah, indeed. I wanted to find out how often this special day today happens. It's a real World Bridger day as far as I'm concerned, but it's a blue monkey this year, but it's in the World Bridger wave spell, which is great, and rhythmic. So the date is rhythmic. This only happens every 33 about years. For those of us into numerology, that may be significant. And it is today the beginning of the Christian Lent fasting period and the Muslims' Ramadan fasting period. I find that absolutely worthy of big time celebration. And today is the 18th of February 2026, just in case that should ever be relevant. What's the numerology of this date? That would be interesting. 6 and 2 is 8 and 2 is 10 and 2 is 12 and 8 is 20, 21, 21. 21 is 3. 33 is 6. So we could play a little monkey magic and say 333. There's nothing special about 333 at all, and it doesn't add up to 333 in any way, shape, or form, but that's the illusions we can create. And you know what? This illusion just gave me a whole lot of joy. Playing playfully is a lot of joy. Why do children play make-believe and have fun doing so? There's no need for reality. What is that to a child? Anyway, I noticed this morning on the radio, I am deep in the countryside in Germany. And this is why I know about Lent. I normally don't listen to the radio. It was by happenstance that I know that Ramadan is starting today. I'm also not up to date with those calendars or following any of that. But this coincidence, two or more things happening at the same time, coinciding, this information's coming to me and they are coinciding inside of me, and they're, so I am aware. And this information came to me this morning on this radio here where they talk about fasting. And first they're like fasting, 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 talking about fasting and blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, you're talking about fasting today. Why aren't you talking about the start of Ramadan, which is somewhere around about now? And then I found out, they're talking about the beginning of Lent. I'm like, huh? Lent starts today? Oh, I check up. When does Ramadan start? Today. Ooh, aha. And I found it so sad that they're talking about the beginning of Lent. They're talking about fasting. And we are in Germany. We have a massive Muslim population, many of which are by now also German. And we make no mention on our radio station about that. There's no consciousness of it. I genuinely want, if it's that they know and they purposefully don't speak about it, that's sad. I think it's equally sad, and that's, I'm making a value judgment, absolutely. This is me being very judgmentally, humanly judgmental, that they don't have genuinely no awareness of anything beyond their own bubble. And it would be so, important to in this name and service of integration. Our radio stations, our German radio stations, and I'm not talking about all the radio stations in Germany. You get international radio, you get all kinds of, but the very, very traditional, like, radio stations, they do not play Russian music or Ukrainian music or Polish music. They don't play any Turkish music or Arabic music or any of that either, ever. Even though there would be music in those languages that would absolutely fit the style of music that they're serving to their customers. They're also not playing any Mexican music or Indian music or African music, but they're not, just these two, the representations of, where we have this very high influx of the Ukrainian refugees population, a lot of them, and they're probably here to stay, and the Muslim community in this country. And even if I'm playing a radio, if my radio station plays in a part of Germany that has hardly got any Muslim population, wouldn't one assume that it's still my responsibility to help in the integration and just every now and then share with people stories out of the Islamic culture, stories about Islamic faith, stories about anything honoring or just even mentioning their public holidays and why they celebrate them. I would like to see that, especially since we have no option to pay these radio stations, because all of them that are public are taking a monthly fee from us that's not optional. So I should write to them and say, listen, dudes, I want my money to go towards integration. Please play some Russian music, because that's gorgeous Russian music. Play some Middle Eastern music, because there's amazingly beautiful Middle Eastern music. And just break open your eggshell and free this multitude of eggs that are growing in there, or this one egg, let it out and meet some other chickens that look very, very different to yourself. Yesterday I looked up something about chickens. I wanted to, a friend of mine said that he's born in the year of the rooster, the Chinese rooster. So I'm like, I know nothing about any of these Chinese signs except my own. So I looked up this little video clip on chickens, and there are over 200, I think, over 200, 180, 200, over 200 chicken kinds of chicken. Either it's chicken species, I'm not sure what one would call that, and they are incredibly beautiful. They're incredibly diverse, incredibly beautiful. We tend to look at parrots or all kinds of bird species as their beautiful display of, but chickens are terribly underrated. I mean, the kind we eat is just generally the least interesting. But oh my goodness, are they a beautiful species? Oh my goodness. And I once had the pleasure to host a chicken for a week, like a pet. We then gave it up to a chicken farm where it should live to be free. But it was a chicken that was raised in a cage. It was raised just to have to be alive so that its organs could be taken from a live chicken for ritual purposes. So it was never raised to move or walk or anything. It was fed, and it probably never even had a space to move its own body. You don't want to know the conditions these chickens grow up in. It's absolutely horrific. And then we want to be so enlightened to say we're using these chickens to make our rituals to the ancestors, but we're using chickens that we treat like that. That's my personal judgment. To the people who do that, it doesn't matter. Why ever it doesn't matter, why ever another life form is regarded so poorly. Why do we humans have it in us to regard another life form so poorly, so poorly, so badly, that we can't even honor its needs for life, for thriving, even if we're growing them for sacrificial purposes. Anyhow, not here to judge on that. Just had a really beautiful. That chicken even came to me to cuddle. Her name was Teresa. I named her Teresa, and then we really had a bond. She came to me. She sat on my lap, and we tried to get her to fly, but she couldn't make that. She didn't even know what her wings were for. She just flapped them in panic, but they didn't save her from hitting the floor at almost knee height for me. It was tragic. Poor thing just fell flat on her face. No wonder karma is a bitch. I fall flat on my face. It's like, yeah, regards from Teresa. I tried to teach her to fly. It didn't work. Life's trying to teach me to fly. It doesn't work either. So do I get to be angry? Yes, I do. Does it change anything? No, it doesn't. Anyway. World Bridger today, this Lent and Ramadan really makes me think of bridging the worlds between these religions and between these, religions are, why are we so righteous of being right and you are wrong? Creating these worlds of dissonance with one another and wanting to force others to adhere to our faith. And having done so in the past by violence, adhere to my faith, commit to my, faith, commit to my faith, or die. Like, it's incredible. It's incredible. And as much as it's terribly incredible to say, I'm going to kill your son because your father killed my father or some shit, like justice, the way humans meter out justice. Or some humans meter out justice. I should stop making these generalizations. I'm not saying all humans meter out justice. When I say the way humans meter out justice, it means the way some humans meter out some justice. It's just along parameters that are hard to understand. Logic that is hard to understand. And are they trying to bridge worlds? No, they're taking vengeance. Are they trying to bridge worlds when they're forcing people into their own faith? No, they're trying to assert control. They are asserting control. And the idea is power. It's just to have more power, to be able to wield more power. I wonder if it would be necessary for that thing that wants to wield so much power to get to the edge of that power, which is wielding absolute global power, let's say, and then to realize whatever you were trying to have by having all that power, you're not getting, because it's completely the wrong way to do it. But it's like an addiction. Addiction brings temporary relief. Illusions can bring temporary relief. if I'm playing a game, like I just now made a joke and a fun out of this 333, that's an illusion. Blue monkey, that's what I'm talking about this. Blue monkey represents illusion, magic, and play, right? Wait, let me not give you crap. Today, magic, play, illusion. Magic, play, illusion, the inner child. The power of illusion can make me laugh and have fun and joy and enjoy. And any joke we tell makes us laugh. It's always like, that's why they say life is mind, because everything, almost everything, not everything, but a lot of things originate in the mind and have very, very real effects on the body. I don't know if anything originates in the body, but whatever originates in the body has real effects on the mind. And today's tone 6, organize, balance, equality. So let's organize the magic, balance the play, and equalize our illusions. It's so simple. So all religions are to some degree just formalized illusions. They're just giving stories to our minds that we tell ourselves, none of which we can not empirically is the wrong word, scientifically prove. Well, we can prove and not prove all of them. Totally rhythmic. But everyone is right, and we're in the world bridger wave spell. So first of all, the center of this wave spell yesterday, the dog, very healing. Healing is lunar, the actual archetype that most represents healing directly, which is blue hand. In this wave spell, healing stabilizes life, and dying stabilizes life, absolutely. I mean, we tend to think of life or our own lives. We have a very, in the Western view, we have a totally super limited view of our own life, which only includes this lifespan. We believe the limitation of our memory is the limitation of our being. And that's, I don't have to pass a value judgment on that, let it be. It's a different, we live a very different paradigm if we live in a lifespan that is, well, probably eternal and spans a lot of earth lives. I personally don't have to really concern myself with any lives I have had or will have off earth, because I'm still busy integrating my earthly being. But it makes a lot of sense to me to think of it in terms of lives beyond this one, whether they're past or parallel, whether they're future or parallel, whether I have seemingly epistemic, is that the word, access to memory the minute I remember a so-called past life, illusion or not illusion. The minute I remember a life, I say it's a past life. I can remember a future life. I can remember the future. When I think of the future, it is the memory of the future. It is not an imagination. That is a paradigm we are taught and told, and we completely adopt it. It's when we're totally in it, it's very difficult to think, what if I'm thinking of myself at the age of 55 and I'm only 25? That thought is not a memory. That thought is supposed to be a memory. Yeah. Yeah. Some is and some isn't. I can think of my past self and think of her, and it is not the same as remembering something. There's a difference. But there's also, I can remember future selves. And at the moment, for me personally, I'm doing that a fair amount. And when they're different future selves, they're different timelines, in as much as they're different past selves. I can call the different future selves different timelines. Now I'm totally spinning you an illusion, but just run with it, because it's a paradigm that, yeah, what am I looking for? How do I affect my life? How do I affect my body? How do I affect my agency in my life? What am I doing? What matters? I can live my life completely present in the present moment, not need to spin or weave any paradigms, just be here. But it's not really possible to live. I don't know if it is possible to live beyond and outside all of these paradigms, but I'm still in it, so I'm weaving others to either find a way to someday be out of all of them, if that's possible, or to just choose the ones that I like and prefer, because they may very well affect the way I show up and the way my life unfolds. So if I look future selves and I remember different future selves, I may be, excuse my stomach, I may be envisioning different future selves, different timelines, or I'm remembering parallel lives and myself at an age that I have not yet reached in this biological incarnation. Do you know what I mean? This body's age says everything I remember from this body back to birth is this life. Anything I remember of an age younger than I am today, that is a thought that I cannot call a memory if I don't believe in that being a memory, but it is a thought of myself, or a possibility of myself. We would call that an imagination. If I imagine myself for a moment at the age of 33, being a farm girl somewhere in the Middle Ages, certain paradigm would say you're just imagining yourself there because you've read stories about the time, because you've seen movies about the time, because by whatever reason you can just imagine yourself there. Another paradigm or another explanation could be you're remembering yourself, you're remembering a past life. Now, is there a difference? One could say, yeah, there is a difference. Can I detect the difference? Do I choose that difference? Is that, when I say empirical? Empirical means what? Experience. Wi-Fi turned off. Yeah, okay, that doesn't help. Information, knowledge, or studies derived from direct observation, experimentation, or practical experience rather than theory, logic, or supposition. It implies that the claims can be verified or falsified through evidence and data collected in the real world. I love it. Anytime someone says, in the real world, I think the real world would have to be the world that all of us humans, or the majority, agrees upon to exist. Isn't that amazing? And thus, each one of us lives. I mean, this is the world, the third dimensional is the world bridge. It's the bridge itself. We're living in the bridge. This is am I speaking about the real world? Let me extract my thought here. Every human, every soul, and now we can debate, does every human have their own soul? Is it a different soul? Is it one soul in many humans? But let's stay connected to the real world. So every human, we can all agree there are human beings. So we can see them, we agree upon them. I see you, you see me, na. Do I see some humans that you don't see? Maybe, maybe not, whatever. It doesn't matter. Because wherever I see them and you don't, we're not converging on this. We're not in the same reality. And I don't think, I mean, that is very rare for humans to meet, where one human is in the same physical reality with another human, and the one human may see humans that the other doesn't see. That would be, if the majority of humans in that world would verify, yes, those humans are there, you're the only one, or one of the very few who doesn't see, then you're the crazy one. And if it's the other way around, the majority would agree there are no humans there, you are the one, or the one of the few that sees humans there, you are crazy. That's how it used to be. That's how in some worlds it is. It's like if you see something we don't see, you are mentally ill, or maybe spiritually special, or neurodivergent, or whatever the explanations in whichever cultural context and time and whatever may be. In the Western context, you might find yourself in an asylum. It depends. You're seeing people. But the third, each human carries around its own universe. It is the center of its own universe, and like a circle, flower of life. This is maybe how the flower of life pattern weaves itself. So each human is a circle, and the center of that circle is the world, and they're, like my world is my circle, and I am the center of that world. And now I move like that through. I don't know if I move anywhere. Never mind moving, because is there space-time? Another matter, but I am here. And every now and then we come together. And I was born into this world, so I am here with other humans. And where our circles meet, all the ones of us who are here sharing this space-time with me, excuse me, the anything that we can agree upon, that is part of the world we share, and that is what for me personally, most limited worldview, the smallest worldview is, and I'm not sure that I'm right about that, I'm not even sure I'm convinced about that, but at this point in time, it seems to me like that. I'd have to give it a lot more thought, but I'm still going to say it, whether it's right or wrong, so don't quote me on it, please, or whatever. I'm just going to run a thought experiment here. That worldview to me is the smallest. The materialist worldview is for me the smallest, in a way that they allow for nothing that they can't see, touch, prove somehow empirically, right? And then they call it the real world. But fair enough. I think they're trying to expand. They want to expand. They're still exploring, so they are exploring ever more inward. That the materialist scientist will explore the universe, the externally perceivable physical reality, third dimensionally universe, and they come to the edge of it where it's like, with they can't if they proceed past the edges of the known world, they're going quantum. And no matter where they do that, everywhere the edge of the known world, whether it's way out there or way in there, it's the same. It meets up, like you start at one point of the circle and you're going in opposite directions. You're going to meet on the other side of the circle, which is exactly what happens to us in the soul kin. Each kin, each magnet, for example, and every kin is at some point the magnet. The wave moves in both directions around the circle and meets in the antipod position. Actually, that's where the paths cross again, and then they go further, 3 further points, forming 11, 12, 13. So 11, 12, 13, they meet in 11, and then they go further, 2 further points. But they manifest in 10. The manifestation is in 10. I gotta do this for myself physically. But I'm really meandering here. But if I have a circle of 20 points and I start on 1 and I move 10 spaces in the other direction, but the 1 is the 1 for both directions. I have got to look at this. Can I find me quickly here a soul kin module? Que pasa, dia? What day is it today? It is a round circular shape all the way. Here we are. Lo boom ba poof. So we're starting at the monkey. So we're going monkey 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sun. Monkey 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wind. Let's do this with the World Bridger. Since we're in the wave spell of the World Bridger, I love this. So, World Bridger 1. We're going 10 in the one direction. World Bridger, hand, star, moon, dog, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, I don't have to count. So, because directly opposite the World Bridger is the warrior, which is tone 11 in this wave spell. It's the antipode of the World Bridger. If we're starting World Bridger 1 and we're moving in both directions, we're meeting the planetary eagle meets the planetary earth, and they both dissolve in the spectral warrior. The only way this works, if you're not following the token, you're gonna have to tune me out because this doesn't make any sense to anyone. Oh wait, no, I'm staying here. Let me go back here, go away. Magnetic, because underneath, one of them goes the other way. Exactly. That one, the eagle, under the World Bridger is, under the magnetic World Bridger, the eagle is on tone 13. And the next one is the wizard. So that one, the eagle goes backwards. No, that's not how it works. I want to take, so on the tonal basis, it actually only works with the, it doesn't officially work at all, but I like the idea anyway. But wait a minute, it does work. Hold on. I gotta work this out. There has to be the World Bridger. Wait. It doesn't work. It doesn't check out, but I like the idea of it because it's just like that is one route. We always going in both directions in time. So why am I going there? Because the third dimension is where we converge. That not the third dimension. It's not just the, we also converge here in the quantum field as they are, you know, it all comes to like, actually, what is reality? The materialists are bursting out of their three-dimensional limitations into the quantum field. Out of three dimensions, three-dimensional physics, three-dimensional mathematics, whatever, they cannot not take, no matter which direction they go, from this, you know, they end up in that place where it's like exploring a bubble. The edges of your known world will always, when you break through, you come into the unknown world. And the rules in the unknown world are different. And when quantum theorists are trying to understand the unknown and make it known, it becomes part of the known world. And what does that mean? I'm not going there. Anyway, a religious, for example, worldview can be absolutely as tight and closed as a materialistic worldview, completely not open. And it too, the seeker in those worlds too, will eventually reach the edges of the known universe as explained by the parameters of the religion, and break into truth, break open into the open field of truth. The World Bridger transcends in the cosmic mirror. Order, endlessness reflect order. You know, it's just that to me, I interpret it that way, the truth is, I mean, always relative, and yet not. Yesterday I asked ChatGPT, can you please tell me the difference? Let's see if I remember this. Oh my goodness. Tell me the difference between a truth that is universal and a truth that is not universal. What would that be called? And in ChatGPT said, I mean, no, it doesn't matter what ChatGPT said. Whatever, I'm like, I know it. It's a context-dependent truth. There's a word for it. Damn. It'll come to me. I think it also starts with a C. Contingent truths versus universal truths. And third dimensional physics or third dimensional mathematics are contingent, in my view. Of course, to a materialist, they are universal because they apply everywhere in the known material universe. And if a materialist doesn't live or have any concept of a reality beyond their own material and known reality, then that is a universal truth to them. And when you then come along and you say, but there are truths beyond that, because there are realities beyond that, this is a contingent truth. Your universal truth is a contingent truth. You get called crazy. I have to understand. And this is one of the difficulties for me. Contingent, but making your contingent truth universal can be very comforting, because it's stipulated. You've mapped out your universe. You've mapped out your reality. This is reality. And then within that reality, you can feel safe because you can learn to understand it, you can know it, etc. However much, in the third dimension, we all agree upon this bed is this bed, this body is this body, it looks like this, 5 toes look like that. We may never realize how much we are the 5 wise men and the elephant, because we've agreed what it means when I describe my foot, that it has a heel and a toe and 5 toes and a bigger toe and smaller toes and long toes and short toes and toenails and skin and a ball and bones and blah, 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 sinews and however I don't want to define my foot. And that I have a left and a right and they are mirror imaging. All of the words I'm using, we have agreed to understand what they mean. Someone who doesn't know what a toe is won't understand if I'm explaining a foot. What is a toe? Maybe they only know a foot in shoes and socks. They never ever seen toes. They don't know what a toe is, So this reality we agree upon is fair enough, but this is, to me, it's like this is a meeting point. This is where we meet, but it doesn't negate the fact that you come from your world, I come from my world, and we meet on planet Earth. We come from different planets. We meet on planet Earth. We can agree on the reality on planet Earth. When you tell me about your planet and I tell you about my planet, and they are stark difference to what this Earth is like or what our respective planets are like, I can't verify what you're saying. You can't verify what I'm saying. The only thing we can verify is what we agree upon here. And we all converge. We have created collectively this one way of looking at it. Is just not a universal truth. It's not even an empirical truth. It's not even a contingent truth. What is it? It's something. It's like an idea. It's an idea, exactly. So sometimes we don't distinguish between ideas and truths. If someone comes up with an idea like Darwin, and then someone else comes and says, oh, this is the truth, and it is universal, and it is empirical, and it is, whatever, contingent on whatever. Contingent on us all agreeing that this is the truth and we allow nothing else. Or genetic stuff, we are a product of our genetics totally, and epigenetics having disproved the fact that how much of our illnesses are genetically caused. It's much less than what we've hitherto believed. Stuff like that. So where am I coming from? My idea that we're here building this world together, or it just builds itself because we're meeting here and we want to meet each other, and we meet in a place where we can have this kind of experience. It's like there's no time in reality, in what I call reality, whatever reality is beyond this third dimension. There's no time. The third dimension is like a bubble inside the quantum field, however that is possible. That is the magic of it. And we can play with this. We can play this reality, this third dimensional reality is a lot more malleable than we realize. And to learn just how do we play with this clay. It's clay. You know, if we get told we are made out of clay, and then the breath of spirit was breathed into us and life was breathed into us, I mean, how literal can we take that? Yeah. And then we play, how much do we have to forget? There are different ways of playing this game on planet Earth, and when you break out of a paradigm, for the younger generation it may be much easier because they have certain settings that may allow them access to multiple paradigms, and that generation is already like, they come in gamer mode. Either they come with it or they get introduced to gamer mode so early in life that gamer mode is really easy for them to adopt in real life. And depending on how good you are at playing, you will get lost in these games. Even in the earthly dimensions, you could get lost or knocked around a lot. Or you're going to really be a surfer between worlds, a world bridger. You know, then you can always reflect. You reflect your own identity. You determine it yourself. And the dog is guided by the mirror in this wave spell, and the mirror is guided by spirit in this wave spell. So the transcendental, and I'm somehow leaving out this receptive wizard in this 4 musketeers here in this wave spell, these 4 cornerstones of this wave spell, the 4 white signs, tones 1, 5, 9, and 13. The time pulsar. This is the trajectory of time. If it's the time pulsar, it's not all now, because, is time all now? Is now the time? Is now time? Now is the moment outside of time, like in the Tsokin, in the moon calendar, in the solar year of the moon calendar, really. It's not the part of this 260-day spin. There is a year out of time, the 25th of February, 25th of July, 26th of July, right? 25th of July. The year ends on the 24th, and there's a day out of time, and the new year starts on the 26th. So, how am I trying to be practical here? Paradigm shifting, life living, when we are the reflecting our truth, gamer mode, reflecting truth, reflecting ourselves back. When we understand that we take on an avatar in this world, and we're playing a part. And aren't we doing that already as spirits? Aren't we taking on a body avatar, a personality avatar, different personality avatars? Just most of it we're doing unconsciously. And I generally personally believe that this being unconscious, so-called asleep or woke, is intentional, because it's a very, very different game when you don't know that you're the author of the game and now you're playing it and you know exactly how to play it. And the only way to have a different experience is to forget all of that and to be completely whatever. It's like, what is it? And sleepwalker, sleep skywalker, dream skywalker, a night crawler. What would that be? Huh? I have no idea. I don't know if this is just judgment speaking. This is no empirical truth. Just these are ideas I'm throwing around. But you can live life without any philosophy, without any ideas about it. You can live completely like, what would that be? To me, I would think that's practical, completely just practical, and you can still feel things, but there's no need to think about stuff. I don't have any understanding what that's like because I've always thought about stuff. And I realized something, that where I did a major paradigm shift in my own life, I was left to my own devices a lot in my very, very early childhood, due to the fact that my parents were working and there was no childminder around, so at some point the one who was supposed to be my childminder was also cook and gardener, so he didn't have time to be a nanny to me. So I lay in my bed, or in my cot, or wherever I lay all day. I was fed and surely I was diaper changed, but I wasn't interacted with, to the degree that at some point it was pointed out to my parents, your child should be walking by now and she's not. Your child should be talking by now and she's not. So I'm a late bloomer. What this did, I for a long time I was like, when I realized this, I was like, oh, woe is me, pity party. I was neglected. And then I realized, a negative side effect, among other things, cumulative, and I'm still going to transform that as well in my understanding, is that I have a bit of a strange relationship to this body and to moving, because of the very, very early lessons I learned about how I could, how I couldn't, what happened to all that energy that my body was kicking out in order to learn to walk. I'm here to explore the world and all I get to do is lie in my cot. So that energy turned inward and I expanded my known universe. I couldn't explore the outer world because there wasn't any exploration to do. So I inevitably explored the inner world. And I'm extremely pronounced in that. Now, Blue Monkey today means also I have to be very aware, where is these inner worlds, what is real and what's not real about how much fantasy worlds did I just build up inside myself and do to this day because I was just bored out of my brains lying in my cot at the age of 2 or something. And where I was actually, and where did I actually really explore perhaps other realities? And is there really a difference? Can I ever know the difference? And this is a point where, for me personally, now I'm speaking about this and I can do so with relative ease. I'm surprised about this myself in this moment, because this is a point of where I can see how easy it is to slipping from reality into non-reality. It's like falling asleep. Sleep is smooth. It's a smooth transition into dream landscapes. It's no problem, Even I can do that. I can slither around my inner worlds. As far as I'm concerned, they're all real. Whatever. Or I'm fantasizing, then I'm fantasizing. But the minute I ask myself, how do I explain this? Is it even necessary? It's a core, I'm trying to explain, a core programming in the human default network, and I'm not sure that I should explain it. And I'm just going to make a decision. I'm not going to explain that. But why? I know I've taken you on a journey, and now I'm going to cut it off. I wanted to get to that point where that can be really so-called crazy making. It's like sort of gaslighting. Gaslighting does the opposite. It is like gaslight is the same point of gaslighting, and gaslighting works in both directions. You can experience a truth or have something that is real, or a real question, or really experience like, I really feel that you are not well, and when I'm asking you, are you okay, you're telling me you're okay, and you're maybe even telling me, when I say, but I have a sense that you're not, you're telling me I'm wrong. And if I can't validate my inner truth that what I'm experiencing is actually true, I'm going to take your word as truth. Now let's remember white mirror, and I'm going to negate my own inner sense, and this can be very, very, very detrimental to our guidance system in later life, because we're going to notice something that's going to be a truth, but we're not going to trust it, because too often it has been validated or negated, and we haven't got enough stability sometimes to actually say, but this is actually what's happening. And for me, I experience this a lot. Not a lot, but it maybe a lot. I don't know, but I've experienced this at very, very, very significant points. And maybe this is how I know something is true. And I say, this is what I see. And the other person says, no, it's not true. And something in me persists. But where it gets crazy making is for me to not know, where is the truth? Do I believe you? I'm personally an essentially honest person, and I don't, like what everything else is just not fun. It's just boring. It's just tedious. It's not interesting. And so I assume honesty from the other people, from the world around me. But sometimes we are dishonest, including me, without meaning to be dishonest. It's just an automatic self-defense. I want to really be honest, but I can't be honest about this. So for some reason, because it seems, maybe I believe my honesty, my truth will hurt you, and I don't want to hurt you, or I believe something. So in order to not have to be dishonest, because I genuinely don't want to be a dishonest person, and I believe I'm not, I deny that I'm saying something that isn't true, and then I start believing my own lie, or something goes weird, whatever, and why am I saying that? I was talking about guidance system and the persistence of the truth. And then, and for me, like my experience, wanting to believe and needing to believe you, because I'm not about to, like, how to navigate that. I mean, there's been several instances in my life where I was validated years later by that exactly what I knew to be true was actually true. So why am I going there? Because truth, for some reason, world bridging, dying, death, the thing that remains after death, any kind of death, the thing that endures, tone 13, is the truth and order. That is a universal truth. The Tzolk'in, as far as I'm concerned, is a universal module. It lays out a universal truth. Death is a strip away of everything that no longer serves, that is no longer, life is always true, and the only thing that dies is that which no longer is alive in that form. It is still alive in another form, and it will again be alive in some other form, but it is going to disseminate. The parts are being taken apart. And whatever, I can only talk about it in terms of the third dimension, like the physical death of a living being, whether that's a rock, this is a disintegration into, or a human being, or a body, or a plant, or whatever. At some point, this thing will no longer be this thing. All the components will disseminate and join the earth and become building blocks for other life forms again. Yeah, the wave merges back into the ocean, and someday other water droplets that make up waves will form new waves. We are water droplets forming waves, being ocean. But this thing, this identity that I call Tatiana, may be equally temporary, but I always have a larger identity, and that is this self. I may or may not have access to this larger identity as the limited identity. I may or may not, but that doesn't change anything about who I am. So in my worldview, when I die, I don't die. When this body releases all of its cells back in totality, it does so every day. I release some of my cells back into the atmosphere, back to the earth, through breathing, through hair shedding, through skin shedding, through all of my, whatever expelling my body does of parts of itself on a daily. But one day, the whole of it is going to shut down. And then the whole of it is going to be taken back into the particles of the earth. And maybe even beyond. So that day, I rejoin a broader me, a broader being, perhaps a broader Tatiana, which is part of a broader something, which is part of a broader something. So, which is, in the end, the very smallest we know, and it's every very smallest. It's so simple. It's like, oh my God, that's the multidimensional circle and sphere. It's from the point in all directions and in all directions in the multiverse. That's why it's all entangled, because the center is in everything. It's so simple. It's just, right now I can really see I can see a multidimensional diagram of it. Oh, it's gorgeous. It can only be represented in time, and that would be it would be something that has motion. It would be evolving. It would look like a dance, and it would form a beautiful pattern. Art, electric star. It's artful. It's beautiful. It's at all times beautiful. And when it's not, it's just like what for the most part is beautiful. Anyhow, so that's what remains, a beauty, because the mirror is attached to it's the antipode to the star. And the beauty of truth. Truth is beautiful. To the human, it's like, no, not always. Epstein files are coming out. That's truth. That's not beautiful. Yeah. That's true. That's a beautiful truth. Not all truth is beautiful. But universal truths. I mean, we can seek beauty. We can seek the beauty of truth. Not all beauty is truthful either. So therein lies, what can I say, a really complicated sentence. Therein lies the contingency of, I want to say something I don't know how to say. Doesn't matter. Don't have to say it. Yeah, so now I've taken us wide and far. And how long have I gone on here for? Yeah, and I have a little 4-minute blurb to put together. Yeah, so Blue Monkey, we get to play, heal the world, heal ourselves, wherever we feel called to play, not take it all so seriously. My healing yesterday really went a super long way. I had a super interesting day inside myself, my external day, my internal reality and my external reality it's incredible. I now I'm so aware of it. I look at humans and I think, I don't know, do we all carry these incredibly rich inner worlds while we go about if we had a camera on ourselves and never heard ourselves speak or think, and we would see people's lives, they would be just whatever they would be. But if you now add the inner riches, the things we dream and think and imagine and experience, the love, the pain, the crazy, the angry, the tender, the everything, it's just like the richness of this artwork. If I just keep the world very small and say humanity, only humanity, only this humanity on earth right now, but I could keep it small by saying all humanity on the earth ever. It's the same size, because even if I had said all life ever, it's the same size, because ultimately nothing is relative to nothing, everything is relative to everything, so not everything has the same size. So if I just keep it to humanity and our physical beings, our lives as we go, and our inner worlds, everything, if I could portray that, if I could take all of it and say, this is the art, this is one of the pieces of art the divine has created and is constantly creating. We experience this constant creation of this constant creation that is changing and making love to itself all of the time, like a kaleidoscope, forming and shifting and changing all of the time. This is the art of the divine. It would be so insanely beautiful. And these opposites, even the unpretty truths by human measurement. And who's the measurer in the wave spell of the world bridger? Tone number 4. One before the dog, the moon. Remembrance, feelings, purification. That's the measures. The way we feel measures. Oof, work it out. I can't right now. But it's like it's this beautiful multi-dimensional tapestry. And of course, we don't need to concern ourselves with what others are putting into this tapestry. All we need to concern ourselves with is the artists that we are, you are in your life, the main focal point, because everything is contingent upon you and your settings. And you are the yellow human in your life, and you have the influence and the free will on your own settings. Use your free will to optimize your own settings. It's very simple. There's one, it's just, you just align with, it's one thought. I want alignment with truth. End of story. Don't need to do anything. It's just all that intent. Align with the divine, align with truth, whatever that intent will automatically align you with everything in a way that is not describable in words. I cannot describe that in words. Because it is incredibly quantum. It's incredibly. It's not about it's this, that, and more. It's like it creates a flow. So the measure of world bridger is flow. How smoothly are we able to bridge our worlds by flow? If you need only one alignment, align with truth, align with the center of the circle, just do it. Align with love. The center of this wave spell is the dog. That will cause your transformation, yellow human, that will resonate. Our last wave spell, very important, because this tone 7 in last wave spell was, and these wave spells analog to each other, remember? They're following each other, but Skywalker and World Bridge are analog kins. They're very, very close energies. So tone 7 in the last wave spell, the resonant tone, was the ultimate bringer of freedom, the ultimate transformation energy, blue storm. And in this wave spell, it's the resonant human, resonant storm, resonant human. So when we just remember each other, and then on the resonant human can remember the next day, the next kin, the galactic Skywalker. Remember the entire Skywalker wave spell. Just recall it, just bring it back, test it for integrity. Resonant human, whatever we resonate with the center, resonate with love, just resonate with love. Understand what that is. Let nothing, and that transforms everything, and that creates the flow. The resonant storm is the antipode to the resonant moon. So you can take the moon on any tone and check out where it is. But in this wave spell, and we only need to concern ourselves with this moment. Every moment brings its own contingent truth, which is contingent on the universal truth it brings. Just love it. Cross-dimensional interface on the saying. So this measuring moon in this wave spell, world bridging, flowing, letting go, flow. If the river wants to hold on to the place where it is, it's not a river. Water never holds on to anything. Water just says, if you hold me, you can collect me. If you don't refresh me, I will become stagnant. I will not be good for you. If you refresh me, I am fresh. If you guide me around 90-degree angles, you may not like what I become. If you curse me, you may not like what I become. I will become not a very coherent force. If you bless me, I will bless you. It is your blessing that blesses you, because if you bless water, the water crystals, then you ingest that water, bless you. If you bless the water that you are in your body, if you bless your own body, it's your blessings that forms the crystalline beautiful structure, blah blah blah. So the resonant human, what do you resonate with? Resonate with love is all you need to do. Check it out. Check it out. It's just like super simple. And even on a day like yesterday, for me, yeah, I resonate with life. I can resonate with light. I can resonate not with the dark. I can just not be having a good time with some of the heavier parts of myself. But if I manage, and yesterday was so perfect, it was really beautiful for me to experience this, how the dog just changed the situation. I've never done this before, ever. I've never sent a dog to my inner child. And yet that's exactly what this is all about. And what is it? The monkey today teaches me, my imagination is a key function, is a key feature to creation. Imagination and feelings. If you want to manifest, you need the feeling. But why do I imagine that I will feel better in the having of something that I don't have today? This is all imagination. I can also imagine I'm feeling better already today. For me, it's a major paradigm that I'm into this healing thing. I tell myself I'm into it, so I have to keep digging up wounds. It's the bones I buried everywhere. So I'm digging up wounds because my paradigms, I believe that's my, until I change that, and I may someday say, what, I'm tired of healing. I just want to be running with the wind. Forget about all these bones. Just fucking run with the wind. What the fuck am I doing? Constantly digging around this healing business. But for now, that's where we're at. For whatever reason. And the monkey, my imagination, can tell me all kinds of stories. Yes, I can do this for the world. I'm doing it for the field. Quantum physics supports it. This. This is the field we are creating, where we are supporting each other. We're supporting ourselves. There is no each other. I'm supporting myself. It's crazy making. That's the point where I'm like, wait a minute, I'm jumping ship. I'm all alone here. Fuck, heading into the iceberg. My ship all alone. Oh, but the iceberg is me. What? Head on into it. Afraid to die? What? Oh my goodness. I mean, it's just like, what a game is God playing with itself? Gods pretending to be the gods, and then the gods pretending there are beings that are not gods, and then the not gods pretending they're not gods. I mean, it's brilliant. It's just brilliant, but it has to be. I mean, duh. God is not stupid. What the fuck is stupidity anyway? What is the opposite of intelligence? There is no such thing, and there is no such thing as intelligence. If there is no opposite to intelligence, ultimate intelligence, of course, since there is no opposite to God, since there is no opposite to life. So the world bridger, we call it death, but there is no death, because death would be the opposite. Death is not the opposite of life. Death is just a door. The door is not the room, but the door is the place where we transition. Maybe it's not a door, maybe it's a corridor. It's a carry door. It's a carry door. That's where we get our wings back. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to quit here because going into the wind, guiding the mirror on tone 13, what remains after death is truth. What remains through death is truth. Why we die is because truth is calling us. A truer truth than this. I would say one last thing. I've been feeling in the last, for a while, and it's been getting stronger lately, a very distinct, the beginning of what I remember, what I feel. This is how it feels when the system starts to shut down and prepare for death. My system is starting to do that. I have a remembrance of it. Maybe it's already happening. Maybe I'm just remembering it because it's part of the programming that should be about to start at my age. Yes. I have about another good on certain amount of years, and by that time, so I'm feeling that, and I'm at odds with that. So, but like, because I'm running a parallel software that totally doesn't, the two cannot meet. But they are meeting, so it's fine. I'm working this out. And yesterday I've said, yeah, we gotta weave a new storyline out of there, or just let one die. I can let the old one die, but I'm just a process. So I don't know if this lifetime will be one where I manage to let the death timeline die, or if I'm gonna just consciously experience the slow dying, which has already started, even if it might take another 50 years to complete itself. But it's definitely started somewhere, or I'm remembering that this is how it starts. So, any case, what am I saying? Yeah, what it means is that the amount of future, the amount of Tatiana that has a existence in this physical form is becoming from this point on less than the amount of Tatiana that has already been experienced. And I'm feeling this decline in time. I'm feeling the shortening of time, and it starts to do certain things to my biology. And maybe, I'm going to just, So the truth, this may be true. This may be a contingent truth, contingent upon either my imagination or past experiences, or actually what's happening with my body. No idea. It's not universal because I am not universal, so it can't be universal. It can be universal just to me because the universe of Tatiana within that made, but that would be only a universal truth in the universe of the physiological Tatiana. So no, I'm not going with that as a universal truth. But there is a true calling me. There are. I'm always preparing my future lives because I believe that certain things I want, I'm not going to have in this lifetime. Or it's not likely unless I manage a serious life extension and to bring these truths into this physiological form, where this physiological form has to be able to take transitions which have no I don't know if I have memory of these transitions. Not in, it's complicated. I have to go deep into the genetics and go beyond my own biogenetics, like my biological. We get told our genetics are just my parents and then their parents and their parents and their parents, and this is my genealogy. That's what's coded into my genetics. But this is a limited version, and it's not true. It's not complete. I have memory in my genetics that go beyond my biological third-dimensional family tree. So, because our genomes, our genetic code is multidimensional. The 24th chromosome is a multidimensional. That's why we can't see it in the third dimension. So I have access to all the other lives I've ever lived anywhere on planet Earth and off planet Earth. So I can draw on different memories and bring it up and manifest it in this body if I get this technology installed and understand and learn how to do it. Or allow the system to do it if it's even meant to do it in this time. It may not yet be, we just may be foreshadowed that it will be like that in a couple of generations, but it's not yet due for this generation or this Tatiana body generation. So anyhow, so there's for me, that to me is a truth that calls me forward. I build my own future selves, and the truths of them they go beyond my physiological death. They're calling me, and they are building my future selves, my parallel universe selves, whatever. They are, I mean, I have to, as a human, as a third dimensional human, I have to think in terms of time, past and future at the moment, and maybe I don't. Can I stop it? Or does that just unnecessarily confuse matters? I'm not exactly sure. For simpleness, I'm going to make a decision to think of, yeah, but there is a problem there. If I think in terms of timeline and future, building a future, I'm having to go through the physical transition to get to that future, unless I remove the physical death and still get to the same future. In which case, I can't imagine myself as a 5-year-old in my next life, because that's going to be really difficult. But what will I do as that 5-year-old? I'm going to have a certain childhood. I'm going to have certain freedoms. Maybe I can't imagine. Okay, that gets complicated. But you know what I'm saying. So I have to imagine things like, you know, what kind of freedom. I want to learn skiing, I want to dance, I want to sing, I want to, God knows what, be who's, you know, I can't have, I have to have different partners, I want to have children, I want to have lives without children, I want to be the artist, I want to be brown skinned, I want to be blonde haired, I want to be brown skinned, blue eyed, and walnut shaped eyed, I don't know, whatever. I want to be male, I want to be female, I want to be all those things. So without physiological transition called death, that is not possible. That has not been possible in the past. So how do we reconcile that? We don't have to. We can just understand these transitions happen. So when enough life, I mean, even in the ideal world, let's say if I imagine a self that can decide when it dies and it decides how long it lives, I can keep this biology rejuvenating, which is, it's part of its core programming. The original DNA code in us is self-healing, self-replicating ad infinitum as long as we want. It just is coded that way. Every telomere shortening and these copies of copies and the degradation of the photocopy, this is something we are doing. This is our own doing. We are just copies of ourselves, and maybe this part of the paradigm we're living in, we're saying we're copies of our parents, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, copies of ourselves. I don't know, whatever. We're going to change that, I guess. So then we can live as long as we want to, let's say. But then comes a point in time where I have lived for however long as a woman, and I may want to like really just be male for a while. And then when I want that like a lot, I'm gonna have to, either by that time they have found a way for us to transition sex in the flesh. Maybe we have. I can recommend a novel, Steel Beach, Steel, Steel Beach, by John Varley, I think. Very, very good book. It's a sci-fi novel. Yeah, they have worked out these transitionings from in any kind. You have nanobots in your body, and you can just decide what you want to look like: tall and thin and blue skinned, or big, wide, flat, or male, female. Even the makeup on your body, whatever, it comes from the inside. The nanobots put it on your skin, so you can just look different any day, every day. It's a pretty cool world to see. And then you have the old worlders who are just like the same every day: cowboy boots and cowboy hat, and that's who I am. I always look the same every day. I'm not doing the nanobot game of it's very fascinating. This book was written a long time ago, but it's like, oh, talk about foreshadowing. Anyway, so these choices, why am I talking about that? Because what are we trying to install in this life already? Do I need to install a 900-year-long software? No, but I do need to start envisioning that becomes part of the software where we're going. Why? I want, it's not short lifetimes, long lifetimes. Everything has a value. And what are we doing on planet Earth? What is nature doing? Increasing options. And every now and then a total wipe clean. And then it starts over. That's also part of the board game, part of the game plan. A wipe clean and start over on every level. The entire galaxy at some point is just going to either expand or implode or explode, or God knows what, expand or inspand, become a black hole, eat itself up, and then start all over, And if it started all over identically, that would be so exciting, because it would now know, oh my gosh, I've done all this before, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to just do it again. And maybe there's a different level of consciousness when we start it all over again. I wonder what my life would be if I could live it over with the consciousness of me, aware of who I am. And I feel I have actually lived my life with a lot of awareness of who I am. If I look back on my life, it seems as if I've always, even if I look at photos, I look at the world like, what the fuck? Seriously? I'm awake and where am I? That's what I look like. It's too cute. It's really cute. Oh, shame that it was not easy. It isn't easy even still. But it's so nice, so fun. And everyone I know is just like so there with me. It's like, yeah. Not everyone I know, that's of course not true, but people I call my friends, people who are like of like frequency, my dogs, my companions of destiny, my home buddies. Yeah, this is amazing. Okay, now I'm gonna quit this weird thing that I did today. Here comes judgment. Do I want to post this? Do I want to listen to it before I post it and allow my own judgment to criticize me and say don't post it? I think so. I gotta get going. I'm supposed to have met my mother. Oops! Half an hour ago, and I still have an hour to get there. So, okay. That's a challenge. Oh, this is long. Okay, I'm going to post this because whoever makes it this long is obviously interesting enough. Otherwise, you've tuned me out an hour ago already. I'm wishing you beautiful blue monkey day with all the rhythmic playfulness and the rhythm. You can't play all the time. Hey, remember, you can't play all the time if we're going into addiction. Someday I'm going to talk about addiction. I really am looking forward to talking about addictions. Oh, it's one of my pet topics. Like death. My precious. So I wish us a playful day, well balanced with, may our responsibilities be things we like doing. We can enjoy our responsibilities because we can see the sense in it. We have built a world in which, even the things we need to do aren't a pain in the ass. And if we still have some things that are like a pain in the ass and we can't get around it, then may we just be in acceptance and may it be short so that you can get back to enjoyment and at some point back to total playing. Remember to play in life, and real like play also includes the things you do just for fun, not I'm doing my taxes playfully or I work playfully, but really to do something that you do for no other reason than recreation. And play with the body. That sounds a bit dubious, or like dubious, that's a judgment. It sounds like fun. Play with your body any which way you like. Use your body to play, move it, make love, make sport, eat good food, enjoy your food, play with your food. Throw it against the wall. The funny thing is that that's only fun to a 3-year-old. That's just not fun as an adult anymore. Because who has to clean it up? You. Any case, it's fun growing up. It's fun being adult and being integrated with a child because you still get to play, but our games just make a whole lot more sense. And when we play things that don't make sense, they don't also cause messes like children cause. So it's all good. Evolution, evolving, navigating, synchronizing with what we want, but balanced with love, balanced with service, balanced with each other, balanced with life, balanced with death, balanced with letting go. In that balance, it's not even a question, it's just, oh God, yeah, welcome to the flow, man, welcome to the flow. That self-existing moon in this wave spell. And may I just foreshadow that the next wave spell is the storm. So tomorrow we're resonant human. Last wave spell, tone 7, was resonant storm. I'm just weaving us together. You don't even have to remember this is happening automatically in your quantum field if you're still listening. The storm in the next wave spell, that's where all this dying and letting go and making peace with death allows us. When we've made peace with death and letting go, then the storm can work properly. Then we no longer have any resistance to what the storm is coming to transform. Transformation versus transcendence. We have to first transform and then we transcend. Okay, so today we're rhythmically playful and I wish you a beautiful blue monkey day. See you tomorrow. Aho.